So in this course structure, so we are going to cover different domains which are very useful for any bioinformatician to do any analysis. So we are covering different domains. So one of the domain is like the Linux and shell scripting. So starting with the first, that is introduction to Linux, and here we are covering the module 1. So the things you are going to learn from this module is what is Linux and the command line interface, CLI, and what is terminal and bash, and how you can run your command on the terminal part. And there are a lot of basic commands that people use to do the analysis part, and there are a lot of shortcut key that you can use to make your work progress faster. Linux is open source operating system. So you have heard like operating system, like we have Windows and we have Linux. So Linux is also an operating system and it has many importance. Like it, you can easily use it to handle the many biological data because it has many command line tools, or we can say commands that we can use to fetch and process the data thing. You can perform more than 200 commands, and you can also write many commands together as a shell script, and you can run those shell script to automate your task. So for example, you have to do a same task for different samples. You can write a pipeline or a script and you can run it for each samples. You don't have to write it every time. You just have to run the script. It will run for each sample. So this is the beauty of Linux thing. Now this Linux thing is like useful to do some repetitive and tedious work. So now like the distributors of Linux is like, if you heard like Ubuntu and Debian. So like for example, like if you're purchasing any water bottle, so the supplier will be anything like Kinley or other source. So same way, the supplier or distributor of this Linux environment, like there are a lot of distributors. So I have given two examples, Ubuntu and Debian, that people generally use to have in their system thing. Now, how to give order to the machine, like means how you can interact with your computer, how you are going to tell, okay, I am looking for this particular task, I am providing this input, just give me the output. So this is the hypothetical situation, like Tony Stark is talking with Jarvis, like, okay, do this. But this is not the real situation. The actual situation is you have to type all your input and you have to tell the computer like I need to do this task. I'm providing these inputs, process those inputs and give me the output. So this is the actual human computer interaction thing. And to interact with any computer, you use command line. So if you are using Linux, well and good, you can have the terminal, you can open the terminal and do these stuffs like running any command line. If you are using any Windows operating system, you have to do some setup to have the terminal part. To do that part, you need to install Movexterm. This is the first thing. So I'll provide the link. So you need to install the Movexterm where you can launch your terminal in Windows. And second thing, you need one editor in coming session where you can write your code. So editor means like to make life easy, you can use editor where you can use your mouse plus keyboard thing. Because in Linux thing, you just have to write all the command with the keywords thing. You can't much use the mouse part. And then coming to the next part is how you can write your command on the command line interface. So like it is the flexible way to interact with the computer is the command line interface. Like you will write a command that will consider as an input for your computer. It will give you the output and then you can perform all the desired tasks. So example of command line command is like this is. So this is the general structure or format of any command line. So anything with dollar symbol and all the prefix part is considered as a prompt part. And after this dollar symbol, this is considered as a command line. And this is the entire command I am doing. Okay. So to run any command, you need to have a terminal. So this is the thing, like if you have Linux environment, So this is the shell icon that we generally call terminal icon. You just have to open and this will pop up and you will have the terminal icon. But when you are dealing with Windows system, so you need to have MOVA extem. So this is like how the MOVA extem will look like. Okay, when you launch any, so you have to download the MOVA extem and then you have to launch this application. This will pop up and this is the icon for the MOVA extem. So this MOVA extem contains a lot of information, but you need to know only few things as a bioinformatics part, like how to launch a local terminal, how to connect with a server thing. So there are two ways. So simply you can click on this start local terminal and it will launch the terminal, or you can go to the session part and there we will have a different option like connecting with the server with SSH command, or you can also find the shell thing. This is for launching the local shell session. When you click on this, it will ask. So it will ask from any specific directory you want to launch, or if you are not providing anything, it will start where you have installed your MOVA extem, like the path I have installed. Like for example, my MOVA extem is installed in the home directory. Okay, so it is launched from their part. If you provide any directory, so it will launch to that particular specific directory. So now I have the local terminal on my Windows operating system with an application that is MOVA extem. So I'm using MOVA extem to access my terminal thing where I can write any command, anything. Okay, now going back to this one. So I was saying the example of command line. So anything with a dollar symbol and the preceding part is considered as a prompt, and whatever the information after dollar symbol will be the your command line. So for example, this rm is a command in Linux which is used to remove any file or directory. So rm is a command, then there will be option. There some of the command will have option features, some of the command will not have an option features. So for example, currently this is a format. If you will see dash symbol and any symbol, that is considered an option. Option means you are saying to your computer remove with forcefully, minus f is used forcefully without giving any error thing. And the next is your argument. Argument means like on which particular file you are doing or running this command. So for example, currently in this command line, I am saying to my computer remove this file. The file name is foo.txt forcefully. So this is the entire command, consists of command, option and argument. And then you will see a cursor. It means like still you can write. If you want to add any additional command, you can add, or if you don't want, you just want to run this up to this command, you just have to press enter. It will execute and it will remove this particular file. Sometimes you will also see instead of dollar the percent sign. So you will see in this Mac operating system, so Linux has generally dollar symbol, and then you will start with your command thing. But if you deal with Mac operating system, so they may have chance you will see percent symbol. So that will all consider as a prompt thing. And all the information before dollar symbol is basically your details of your system, like so your name and in which directory you are working. That information will be there in this particular thing. Now coming to next part, like how you can find which is the command, which is the option, argument and cursor in each line. So here I have given 6 examples. So the first example is, so you can easily see this dollar symbol and within the close bracket and tilde sign, all considered as a prompt. So this is your prompt. CD is a command and Ruby is the argument, because we don't have any option dash anything. So we don't have any option in this particular command line. So we only have the prompt part, command part and the argument part. So in Linux, CD is change directory. Change directory means you are telling to your computer, just switch to this particular directory Ruby. Okay. After running this command, you will jump into Ruby folder. So in this particular first line, this is prompt, CD is your command and Ruby is an argument. Same way if you see for the other example, now we this prompt part is saying you are in the Ruby folder. So all the information before dollar symbol is prompt. Now your ls is command. So ls is here. So listing out all the files. So whatever the files present in the Ruby folder, it will list out all the files on your terminal output. Again, dash a, that is your option. So dash a is used to list out all the files. Okay. Then if you jump for the third example, so now you have, this is the prompt. Rm is your command that we were discussing, that rm is to remove any file. Minus f, that is an option, and this is an argument. Same way, your command, prompt, and argument. Okay. And now in this particular section, we are changing to a new project. So within Ruby, there are a lot of files and also subfolder. So now I'm saying to my computer, now you are in Ruby folder, now jump into project folder. So I'm changing directory from Ruby to project part. Okay, so this is cd's command, and projects is basically your argument. Now this is a new command, that is pwd. So before dollar sign, this is the prompt and this is the command, and we don't have any information, neither your command like argument or any options thing. We just have a command, that is pwd. And pwd full form is path of working directory. Means if you run this command, it will give you in the output the entire path of the current directory, like in which directory you are right now. So for example, in this particular command, the user is in this users, then particular folder name, that Ruby, and within Ruby there is a subfolder, that is project. So this is your entire working directory path. Okay. And in the last example, if you see, so this is the dollar symbol, so entire thing is a prompt, and we don't have any command argument, we just have a cursor. So means like the terminal is waiting to write the command, like they're waiting for your response, like you just should write any command to do any task thing. So this is the cursor symbol you will see on the terminal thing. Now jumping to the Linux file system. So this is very important. So Linux file system is kind of a tree. So if you see a tree, it will have a root, and like you can say the starting point, and then it will have a lot of branches and sub branches thing. Same way in Linux system, there is a root directory, that is starting, the symbol of root directory is /, and within root directory you will have many branches, or you can say folders, and for each branches you will have sub branches, you can say subfolder. Okay. So there are two things to remember, that is absolute path and the relative path. So absolute path is defined as the location of a file or directory that will start from the root directory. Means the path will have the /. So if you want to write the absolute path, you need to start with the root directory, means /. So let's say, for example, this is your home folder, and within this home folder there is a kt folder. Okay. And within kt folder you have a file, and the name of the file is abc.sql. So I want to go to this particular file. So how you want to, so this is a command line. So cat is also a new command. So cat is used to showcase the content of any file. Like if you want to visualize the content of any file, you can use the cat command. Okay. So here what we are doing, Alexa stop. So this is a cat command. So here we are providing the path. So we are starting with a root directory /, and we have to give / after every directory. So for example, this is the starting of the root directory, home is a folder, we are giving a /, then kt is a subfolder, we are giving a /, and then providing the file name. So what computer will do, it will go one by one. It will first go into home folder, look for kt, then look for abc.sql file, and it will open that particular file because we are using cat command. So this is the absolute path. Whenever you are seeing a / symbol, means this is defined as the absolute path thing. Now coming to the relative path. So now let's say with an example. So you are working in a new directory or new folder. The name of the folder is course new. Okay. and now you are trying to open the file that is abc.sql file content. Okay, so you just ran cat abc.sql. So what the computer will do, it will try to find this abc.sql file within your current directory. So for example, current directory was course underscore new, but the file is not there in course underscore new because it is kept under home kt. So the terminal will throw an error. So it will say the file is not present thing. So how you can resolve this error? To resolve this error, you need to provide the absolute path where exactly the file is present. So you will say cat command and you will give the absolute path, like go to the root directory, there will be a home folder. Within home folder, there will be a kt folder, and within kt folder, there will be a file that is named abc.sql, and open the content of that file. Okay. Now defining the relative path. So relative path is simple, just giving the folder name. There will be no forward slash. So for example, currently you are in home directory and you want to go to kt subdirectory. You just have to write cd and the folder name, change directory and go to kt folder. You don't have to write it with forward slash. Okay, if you write cd forward slash kt, it will throw an error. I'll show you on the terminal in the coming slide. So see this example, how you can change directory with relative path and the absolute path concept. So as I have explained, pwd is used as a command to get the path of working directory. So right now I'm in home and kt folder. Okay, and within kt folder there is a subfolder called abc. So I am going to cd abc. Okay, so here I'm giving the relative path because I'm not using any forward slash. So I'm just saying change directory and go to this folder abc. So it went into abc, and then when again I do pwd, it will show now you are in abc. So this is the entire path of my current working directory because I went into abc from kt folder. Now how you can do the same thing with absolute path? So again we have started with the kt folder. So the working directory is home kt, and you are saying I want to change it to from kt directory to abc directory. Now I'm not using the relative path. I'm giving the absolute path, means from the root directory, like giving the forward slash and providing each folder name with the forward slash, and then when you press enter, it will, you can see again the pwd command, like where you are, like currently in which directory you are. So you will see you are in home kt abc. So this is the two way to go. Either you can use relative path or absolute path. So now let's go on the terminal. So for example, when you press forward slash, so this is the root directory. And to see all the files in the root directory, you just have to press tab on your laptop thing. When you press double tap, it will show all the directories which are there in the root directory. So as of now, my branches for the root directory are this one: my name thing, drives, home, lib, media, etc. Okay. Now I want to go to drive thing. So for example, I'm using the absolute path. So I want to go to drives. So what I have given, I have given change directory, given the absolute path drives, and then forward slash, and then again you press tab, it will go to C. Or simply if you press enter here only, now you went into from, so initially you were in this mova xterm directory, now you jump into drive directory. So you can see drives is there. If you do ls, list all the files that are there in this drive folder, you can see C is the folder. Okay, now I want to go to this directory C with absolute path. If you use absolute path, you need to provide from the start. If you just do C, it will throw an error, no such file or directory, because this is trying to fetch with an absolute path. So you need to start with drives, like because you are using the absolute path, so you have to start with drive, and within drives you have the C folder. But you can use the relative path here. So if you want to use the relative path, you just need to write cd folder name. It will jump into cd folder C. initially you were in drives folder, now you jump into C folder. And if you do ls, so these are the files and folder that are present in C folder. So this is the difference between absolute path and the relative path. Now coming back to this one, so how you can write your first command. So to write any command, so starting with first, that is echo command. Echo is also a Linux command. It is used to print any argument to the screen. So for example, right now I'm typing echo command and giving a string. So you can in terminal you can simply write this one or use double quote also to define a string. So string, for now you can just simply remember string is like a characters. You will learn this data types in the coding lectures, like what is like integer, what is float, what is boolean, what is string. But for now, just remember string is a character. So a string is consist of characters. For example, this is the entire string consists of different characters. Okay, and you are using echo means you are saying your computer to print the string. So it will print the string on your output or on the terminal part. Now next is like, for example, you ran a lot of command on your screen. How to clear the screen thing. Clear the screen means you want to clear the entire screen. So see, like for example, in the my screen, I ran these commands. Okay. So I want to clear the entire screen, start from the scratch. So I just write clear command. For example, again, I do ls minus a. Okay. I ran two command. I got the output. Again, I want to clear the screen. You just need to type clear command. It will clear the screen. Okay. Now there's also shortcut instead of typing. For example, I do ls, again ls. Instead of typing clear, you can use your shortcut key. So control L, if you type, it will do the clear command thing. So you don't have to write clear on the terminal every time. You just use control L. Okay. Same way, if you want to exit any terminal, you can either type exit on the terminal or you can just simply control D. So these are the shortcut you can remember to make your work faster. So now some of the summary, like as we have learned echo command, so we haven't learned man command. So man command is basically getting the manual page for all the commands. So it is like if you are not aware of like what exactly this echo command is doing, what exactly ls command is doing, so you can simply write, for example, I'm writing man ls. Okay, it will showcase the entire doc, and within the entire doc we will have a lot of command. For example, awk command, base command, these command, cat command, chat command. So we can see, like for example, we remember we were doing cat command. So cat command is used to print the content in the output part. So you can see, okay, exactly this command is used for which purpose. And to exit, you can simply press Q on the screen. It will jump back into the terminal part. You can open the file using any command with man command. To exit, you just need to press Q. Okay. And then we have learned this echo command to print any string on the screen. For example, you are stuck in any, like for example, if you're dealing with any big file or something, because like you are handling a big data and your laptop just stuck or your terminal just stuck, so you just need to put control C to get out of the trouble part. So again, it will jump into the terminal section thing. And these three are very useful: control A, control E, and control U. Let me explain how. So you are writing a command. Okay, so you are writing these many words. Okay, then you realize, okay, I need to change, like I have given the correct incorrect path. So either you can do backspace, 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 backspace. It will take a lot of time. Okay, you can simply jump to the start point using control A. If you press control A, it will jump to the start point. Okay, now it is easy to, if you are like you like for example thought like E is missing in the start, you can simply jump to the start part and add the E. Okay, now again you have to go to the end part, you can do control E. So control is to go to the end of the line, control A is used to go to the start of the line. Okay. Now, for example, you want to clear all the command. So you can't do like backspace, backspace. For example, you are dealing a lot of command, for example, 30, 40 lines. So you can't do okay backspace, backspace. So you need to use Control U. So it will delete all the line that you have written and it will jump to the start of the terminal thing. Okay. It will delete in the entire thing. So that's why Control A, Control E, Control U is important if you are handling a big data. Or for example, you are visualizing any BAM record, so it will like or FASTA. So FASTA will be have a record of 4 or 5 lines. So you can't go or delete backspace, backspace. So you can do Control U, or you can go to the start of the file using Control A, or you can use Control E command to go to the end of the line. And same, if you want to clear the screen, you can use clear, and you want to exit the terminal, you can use exit command or Control D. Okay. Now let's go on the terminal part and we will try to follow some of the basic commands that I have added in one of the doc that you can also follow and practice. So let's go. So here, so in this particular document, I have added all the basic commands that are useful and which is used to handle the data. So starting with the man command. So I have already explained what is the man command. So you just have to type man and the command name. You will get the manual of the command, and then you can see what exactly this command is used for. Okay. Now coming to the echo command. So echo command is used to print any string on the output section. So for example, I want to print echo and I just say Linux course. So I have added within the code. So this is considered as a string. It will print in the output whatever I have written in the or provided as a argument or string thing. Okay, Linux course. So this is echo command. Now coming to cd command. So I have explained cd. Cd is used means like you want to change the directory. Okay. So right now I'm in drive folder. Okay. I want to go to a folder name that is Assis personal. So I went into cd change directory. You just have to write as and you can press tab. You don't have to write the entire file name. Just press half of them. If it is matching with any other existing folder, it will again ask like write some extra thing. Like for example, I write as and press tab, it will jump till ashish underscore. Now because we have two files and the prefix of these two files are same, so that's why we have to provide p and then again you can press tab to complete the folder name. Okay. Now I am in this particular folder. Like initially I was in C folder, then using the change directory I jump into Ashish personal folder. Okay. And again I want to go to bioinfo byte, so you just have to write cd and bioinfo byte. Okay. So this is the command to change and move into the directory, different directory. Okay. So you are going like a chain wise, like you are going subfolder from folder to subfolder. Now how you can jump back into the previous folder? So same way you just need to write change directory and the symbol is double dot. You just need to write dot dot and press enter. It will go back one directory. Now again you are in Ashish person directory. Okay. Now for example, again I'm going to bioinfo byte. Okay. And now for example, I'm going to a folder that name is build course. Okay. So now I want to jump back to directory. So dot dot forward slash because we are saying to jump back to directory. So again then, so the first two dot is to jump back into bioinfo byte. And then the next two dot is to jump back into Ashish personal. When you press enter, again you are in this particular directory, Ashish personal thing. Okay. So this is the way you can change the directory on the Linux terminal. So we have learned like how to change the directory to move to a new folder, how to go back to one directory using cd dot dot command, and how you can go back two or three directory using cd dot dot forward slash. Okay. Now the next command is ls command. So ls command is like list all the files that folder contains. So if you simply write ls, it will list out all the files that are there in this particular folder. Okay, and then we want to have some extra information like what is the size of the file and when the last time the file is modified. So we have different option. Okay, so starting with the first thing, there is an option called al. So means list out all the files including the hidden files also. Okay, so if you write this ls minus al, so it will give you the information on everything. Okay, these are the files name. So the last time I have created or updated this file, for example, this file is downloaded or updated in September 25, and this column information gives you the size of the file. Okay, this much size this is. Okay, and this double dot and single dot is considered as a hidden file. So whenever you encounter with any Git repository, you will see one folder that is called git ignore. So these files are considered as a git ignore thing. Means like you are saying not to consider. So for example, any files if you kept in git ignore, so your system will not track those files. Means they are not going to record or having a record of those files. So that those files are called hidden files. Okay, or you can say git ignore files. Now this is ls minus al to list out all the files and other information like the size, the time when you have created or modified the files. Okay, now there is one more thing is like how you can fetch. For example, let's go to one folder that I'm using. So okay, so I'm going on this particular folder day one. Okay, so this particular folder has a lot of files like file1.txt, file2.txt. Okay, so currently it is only having a 8 files, so you can easily visualize. Okay, so these are the files. But what will happen if in this particular folder you will have 20 or 30 files and you want to look for, okay, like you work on a particular file and after 1 month you want to again look back and check for those files. So it will be difficult to fetch and scroll down for all the 50 files to find your file1.txt. Okay, so you can simply fetch with a pattern. Okay, so there is a command like you just have to write the command and the pattern thing. Okay, so that to fetch a pattern you are saying ls means listing out the files, and to fetch any pattern we use star mark. Okay, star, and which pattern you are looking for. I'm looking for .txt pattern, so any files that are ending with .txt I want to print on the output section. So currently I have all the files except for this one gz. Okay, so all the txt files are here. Okay, if you are saying okay do ls and I want to .gz thing. Okay, so we can see, okay, so I will have all the files which are ending with .gz. So this is a good way to fetch all the files with a pattern. Or for example, you can use a pattern when you are dealing with, like for example, you want to copy the entire file which having the extension .txt. So you can use it to copy the entire file that has an extension of .txt. Okay, so now as of now we have learned like how to list out all the files, how to list out all the files with all the information and also with the hidden files, how to list out the files with a pattern. Okay, and now for example, as of now we have list out all the files with a pattern that is ending with some word. So for example, you don't have to write every time, so you can use in your keyword like upward arrow. Upward arrow will go back to the preceding command that you ran on your terminal. Okay, so I'm using upward arrow, so this is ls minus gz. Okay, so you can write the any this suffix thing like, so I want txt, it will list out all the files. If you write xt, any files ending with xt, it will print out everything. Okay, so now what will happen, I want to have the files in the output that is starting with file name. Okay, so there is a command, you just need to provide the ls command and providing the starting prefix and the star mark. So this is the way to fetch the file with any prefix. For example, I want to ls and any file that is starting with file I want to have in the output to see. Okay, so see, like you will get, this is kind of filtered thing. Like if you are dealing or having a lot of files in a folder and I want to see, like last time I stored a txt file, so I don't remember the file name, so you can print all the txt files in that particular folder and you can see, okay, I was working in this particular file, so I can simply open the content of this file. So this is a way of filtering thing. Even more simpler thing, okay, you don't want to go with the prefix and suffix, you just want to use the any uh, characters in between a particular line thing. So for example, I want to fetch commands, so you just need to use star mark and I gave this commands and star mark. Okay, so both within the star mark I'm writing a word or a character, and if it matches with any of the files that will get printed. So for example, in this particular two files, this command word was there. So what this computer did, so listed all the files that has this particular word. Okay, so this is a pattern to fetch also. If you're not trying to fetch with any extension or not with a prefix thing, you can do this way also to do the filtering thing. Now coming to PWD, so we have already learned like PWD is to get the working directory. So if you do PWD, it will give you the absolute path, like starting with the root directory and all the folder subfolder thing. Okay, so this is useful because currently, for example, if you are working on any server thing, so you have access to a server for a particular same folder. Okay, and you are handling some data. So for example, some X person is doing some thing and generating some output, and some Y person have to validate those output. So how you are going to provide the data thing? You can't say you can download and upload on the drive thing. You just simply need to provide the path. Okay, so you just have to do pwd and you can copy this path and give it to the other person. You can use this path and you can directly jump into the results of that particular thing that you ran. Okay, so the second person just need to do cd and provide the path. He will jump into this particular directory and then he can fetch your data and results. Okay, now the next thing is mkdir. Mkdir is like creating a new directory. How to create a new directory? Like simply in Windows operating system, you just right click and there is an option like create new directory. But how to do it in the Linux system? So there is a command called mkdir. Mkdir full form is make a directory. Okay, so I'm saying make a directory and say linux underscore abc. Okay, press enter. Now see, I will have a folder called linux abc. So you can simply create any folder using mkdir command. Okay, there is two more options. You can create multiple folders with a single command. You just have to provide mkdir. Now I say linux 1, folder name linux 2, linux 3. Okay, now you have created all three linux folder in a single run. You don't have to create one by one. You can create multiple folders in a single run. Okay, there is one more that is very useful. So this is like create multiple nested folders by adding -p option. Okay, so for example, you want to create folder and subfolder, so you can use this -p option. -p option is used to create nested thing. So for example, I want to create abc folder, and within abcd folder I want to create linux underscore 1 folder. Okay, if you do this, it will give error because you are not using the option p option -p. So if you provide -p option, now you will have the abc folder cd abc. Okay, and then within the cd abc you will have the linux 1 folder. Okay, So you can create the nested folder also with this option -p. Yeah, yeah. So now we have learned how to create a directory, single directory, multiple directory, or a nested directory. Okay. So in Linux system, directory and folder is a similar terminology. You can either use folder or directory. Now need to remove the directory and the files. Okay. So to do that part, you have to use rmdir command. Okay. So for example, I have created an empty directory, a lot of empty directory. I want to remove it. So rmdir is a new command. So rmdir is basically removing a directory. So I want to remove directory Linux 2. Now do ls to list out all the files. So see, Linux 2 we have just removed with the command rmdir. Now I want to remove multiple directory. So same way you can do Linux 1, Linux 3, do ls. Okay. So now we have removed every three new directory that we have created 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now for example say Linux, I am changing the directory to Linux ABC. Okay. And this is a blank empty directory. Okay. So I am creating one file within this directory. So to create a file on the Linux thing, we can use cat command also or touch command. Touch command is like creating a file. So I want to create file1.txt. So I'm saying my computer create a file 1.txt with a touch command. When you press enter, it will create a file that is file1.txt. Okay. Now going back one step. So I have a folder. The name is Linux ABC, and within Linux we have a file named file1.txt. If you remove rmdir Linux ABC, it will throw error. Why? Because it is saying directory is not empty. Rmdir is used to remove the empty directory, and to remove the directory with its subcontents or contents any files or subfolders, you need to use rm. You need to use rm, and the option will be -r. So now I am providing the folder name rm-r and do ls. Now you can see this particular folder is removed with the entire contents they have, like whether files, subfolder, everything will gone. So rm is used to delete the directory with its contents. So now we have covered how to delete an empty folder, how to delete a multiple empty folder, and how you can delete a directory and its content. Okay. Now the next option is renaming any file or any command thing. Okay. So here I have given example to delete any particular folder. Same way you can use apply for the any file. Like for example, I want to delete file1.txt. You can do, and then you can see this file1.txt is also not there because we have removed it from the rm command. Okay. Now need to rename the file name. Okay. So to rename the file name, Linux has a command that is called move mv. So Linux has two, so this mv command has two roles. So either you can rename a file or you can move the file, means you can change the position, like you can shift from one folder to other folder. So first we will rename it mv command, and I want to rename this file2.txt with file2 underscore copy. This is a copy file. So I can give any name you want to give any name. You want to add anything like copy underscore one, copy underscore two, anything you can do. And press enter and do ls. So you have this file2.txt. Now you have changed this file2.txt to a new file that is called file2 underscore copy.txt. Okay. Same way, if I want to transfer this file into a different directory, for example abc, I can use move file to copy txt, and I want to place in under abc folder. Now if you do ls, now you don't have file to copy in this day one folder. When you change and go to the abc folder, there you will see this particular file2 underscore copy.txt. Okay. So we can easily rename the file. We can change the rename the folder name also same way. And to move the file same way, you can move like which file you want to move. So you can move multiple files together. You just have to provide the command mv, the file name. So for example, file1.txt, file2.txt, and at the end there will be a folder name where you want to place it. So whatever the parameter name you will given, that will consider as a folder name. Okay. Now I was saying the importance of the fetching with a pattern thing. So I want to move all the files that are ending with .txt to a folder. So I don't have to do it manually one by one. Okay. So for example, I have a lot of txt file. So I can move all the txt file together. Instead of doing one by one, I can do move and with a pattern .txt, and where we want to move abc folder. So all the files having the extension of .txt is moved to abc folder. When you go to the abc folder, you can see all the files are there. Okay. Now you have also learned how to use the mv command. Now same is cp command thing. So cp command is basically to copy the files or folder. So right now we are moving. So for example, we are moving from files from one directory to other directory, but we also want to copy. So for example, so we have these files. I want to copy abc.txt uh, in a Linux 1 folder. So you just have to give Linux 1 folder, and then you just need to verify whether this copy cp command has performed. You can see abc.txt part is copied to Linux underscore 1 folder. You have this abc.txt file in abc folder, plus also because you use cp command, so they what they did, so they copy the file and place it in under Linux underscore 1 folder also. Okay. And now going back, so for example, you want to copy this particular file in this day underscore 1. So what you will do, copy abc.txt file, and I have taught you how to go back one directory. So double dot. Okay. So it will jump into day 1 folder. Okay. So if you do ls and then go one back step, you can see abc folder, abc.txt. So because you told your computer that copy this file and place it one directory before this current directory. So current directory was abc, then the previous directory was day underscore 1 thing. Same way you can do copy the files and folder thing with a pattern thing that we use for the move command. Okay. Now coming to this 10th command thing, how you can open a file. So if you are working in the Mac operating system, you can use the open command, but when you are dealing with Linux thing, so you need to use the vim command. Okay. So right now, for example, we have this abc.txt file. I want to open this particular file. How you can do it? You can type vim command and the file name. So vim abc.txt is this, and then when you open this file, so this is an empty file, so you can see you have opened the file. Now for example, you want to add the content in this particular file. So whenever you are opening any file with the vim command, so there will be a different option or different mode. So for example, you want to add or write anything, so you need to change it to insert permission. Right now it is not in like it is in the non-editor format. So you want to edit, so you need to press I. If you press I, you can see the insert thing is coming up at the bottom thing. It is saying now you can insert anything you want. So for example, so this is a Linux course. So you added one line. I want to add next line. I press enter. I just write bioinfo. Okay. So I have added two lines. Okay. And now I want to save this file. So what you have to do, you have to press ESC on your keyboard, and then there will be a this two dot thing. You have to press this symbol, and then there is an option like you want to quit, you want to save, or you want to save and quit. So if you press Q, so it will quit without saving. If you do WQ, so it means write and quit. It means like whatever the information you have added, it will write and quit this particular file. Okay. Now let's go back and again open this file vimavc. Now you will see again you have the added two lines. Okay. Same way, if you want to modify, you need to press I to go to the insert mode. Now say I want to delete this course and I want to make it lecture. I want to rename it with lecture. Okay. So I did that part. Again, I need to save it. Press ESC, this double dot, write W and quit. Write and quit, press enter. Okay. Now you have modified the file. You can see this is a Linux lecture by Infobyte. For example, you don't want to write, you just want to see the content and want to go back to the terminal part. Press ESC, then this double dot symbol from your keyword and Q only, and press enter. It will quit and it will jump to the terminal part. Okay, so these are some basic commands. So still we have a lot. So like we can see some more commands, 2 and 3 commands, and I can feel like rest part we can cover in the next session because it will be too much for you guys also. So you have to also practice each commands. Then we can practice with an example like how where we can use this data and how to practice those things. Okay. So we will cover 2 more, touch and cat command, and then we will end the session thing. So we already have this touch thing like so I have explained to create any file you can use the touch thing. So touch command is there. So I want to create any file name linux new.txt file. So you can use touch command, and when you do ls, so you have a new file linux underscore. Okay. Now you can also create a new file with cat command. So let me explain. Cat, if you are using cat command, so you have to use append operator. This is the append operator in the terminal, and provide the file name. So I am saying linux new2.txt. Okay. Now the cursor jumps into new line, means it is expecting you to provide the contents you want to store in this particular file. Initially we were using beam operator to open and insert the content. Okay, but cat is also has a feature you can provide, like for example I want to add hi everyone and press enter, and you can and when you do control C, so it will exit this particular part, and then you can open this linux 2 file. So this one is hi everyone thing. Same way esc this double quote this double dot and q to exit the file. So scat is used to print the content of any file on the output thing. Next you can print the content of multiple files, and also you uh, can concatenate, means adding all the file information into a new file. So for example I can visualize the content using cat command, so that we have created. So for example linux new2.txt. So in this particular file we have a content only hi everyone. If you look for this new thing, so we don't have anything. So let's see vim linux. So let's insert something abc df. Okay, let me write and save. Now let me do cat new.txt. So it will print the content of a file abc and def. Okay. So same way, if you want to print the content of multiple files, you can use cat and the file name. For example, I want to see both the file content new.txt and linux new 2.txt. So we have the first two line for the first file, and then hi everyone, which is coming from the second file. So this is the way you can visualize or print the content of any file using cat command. So you need to do two things before the next lecture. Install all the prerequisites like Mova Xterm and VS Code. Then try to practice all the commands till 12 on your terminal. Try to create the files. Try to list out all the files, visualize the content of the file, how you can use vim command, touch command, how to remove a directory, how you can remove a file, how you can rename a file. These things you can cover. And in the next class, we will cover the other lectures on other basic commands and other important commands like grep command, pop command, and cut commands.